And joining us from Monaco, he's known as the plastic soup surfer, activist and biologist Merijn Tinga. Thank you for being with us here on France 24.
Thank you for having me.
Before I ask you about your current voyage, which is taking you from Nice to Monaco to Rome, let me first get your reaction to what we saw in that report, and most notably the fact that the war in Iran, with the price of oil surging, do you see this as a moment of distress or a moment of opportunity?
It might be a moment of opportunity because of plastics that might have higher prices, and then we might have get more value for recycled materials or recycled plastics. But we should also take into account that to make these recycled materials or to recycle that plastic, we also have to transport that plastic from one point to another. And that also, of course, costs energy. So it's not clear whether, or it's not totally clear if this is really going to help recycling of plastics.
So tell us about what your message is, first of all, to Prince Albert when you meet with him on Wednesday.
I've been campaigning for deposit return schemes for 10 years now. So the deposit return scheme is a system where when you buy a beverage container, a bottle, or a can, you pay a little extra at the store. But when you bring that bottle back, you get your money back fully reimbursed. And this system, we've introduced it in the Netherlands 5 years ago, reduces the littering of these bottles and cans by 80%. So a huge reduction. It's a very efficient system. Plus, it gives a really high recycling rate. So this is, I think, one of the examples of real circular economy. I've been campaigning for this system in the Netherlands now. We have it introduced in the Netherlands, and I'm now windsurfing from Oslo to London, London to Paris, Paris to Nice, and now from Nice to Rome to promote this system. So this is also what I'll be asking Prince Albert for tomorrow. And Prince Albert, he's very conscious about the environment and about plastic and plastic pollution. So I hope he will lend me an ear. Well, he will lend me an ear, but that he will also be very positive and will actually take action.
Hey, you mentioned your successful bid to have this deposit scheme introduced in the Netherlands for plastic and canned bottles. Tell us a bit on that score. If you've been able to follow up to find out if what has gone back to the store has actually been recycled.
Yeah, well, we have, I mean, the Netherlands is not the first country to introduce a deposit return scheme. And we have, there's more and more countries, and especially in Europe, all introducing this system. And we have countries like Germany that have recycling rates over 95% regarding cans and bottles. In the Netherlands, we've just introduced it, so we haven't got that high recycling rates yet, but we're getting there. It takes a little time. There are some challenges, of course, with these systems as well, but I guess the most important thing for me is to reduce plastic pollution, because plastic pollution, well, as you saw in the previous item, it also ends up in the ocean, and finally it will end up in our own bodies. And there's enough evidence that this can cause, well, that this can cause harm in several ways. It's associated with obesity, with dementia. We can find it in our brains, in fetus. So there's enough evidence that we should really handle this material with care, and there are solutions. I mean, throwaway culture, of course, very complex, and as you saw in the previous item, many factors go into this. Many countries have different interests. But there's this one system that's very simple and efficient. It's been around for over 50 years. This is why I think we should introduce this system. And I'm not only going to tell this to Prince Albert tomorrow, but I actually have an appointment with the Pope, with Leo XIV, once I arrive in Rome, and I will ask him exactly the same thing.
Okay, so tell us about your journey, Merijn Tinga. You're in Nice. You get on you windsurfed from Nice to Monaco.
Yeah.
How long does it take? And what do you do while you're windsurfing? Are you thinking about windsurfing, or are you thinking about what you're going to tell the prince, what you're going to tell the Pope?
Yeah, so I'm a bit tired. I just came off my board. Actually, I've been on the board for 4 hours, from this morning till now. And then got this huge welcoming here in Monaco. Incredible. What do I think about? Of course, the thing is, of course, when you're on the water, I guess that's one of the most beautiful things of being on the water, being on a surfboard, is that you become one with the wind, with the waves, with the weather, and you have one focus. And once you return on land, you're immersed by this throwaway culture. You're immersed by these products being forced upon you by the supermarkets. And that's also when you see that we need this focus. If we want to change things, you need the same focus as you have when you're on your surfboard. You see that cape, you see the horizon, and you know it's me and the wind, and we need to take this one direction. And this is also one of the teachings of Laudato Si, of the Pope, becoming more aware of nature, knowing that you're part of nature and that we should not just treat the earth of something that we can pillage and take everything off, because this takes it off balance. And this is also the core, I guess, of what throwaway society, the way we handle these plastics, the fact that once we're so accustomed to throwing everything out all the time, and we need to change that. And once again, the deposit return scheme is a very simple, effective measure to do so.
Now, all of the world's big waterways are impacted by pollution. After your 4 hours on the board in the Mediterranean under particular strain when it comes to pollution. What were your thoughts coming out of the water on that score?
Well, you see plastics floating by when you're on the board. You see them, you see the bottles, you see the cans, and we have to do something about it. It's so clear. But then, of course, once you return in the harbor, you're in this 24-hour economy again, with all the distraction of the phone, of the news, of whatever. And of course, the convenience. We all want this convenience. So I guess that is the contrast you see if you are on the water, and then come back on land, and especially when you're campaigning against plastic pollution. You see it everywhere. And you also see where it goes wrong. And that's once again why I think we should really do something about this. We need leadership. We need leadership to change this. And of course, between countries in the geopolitical system or a situation we are in now, of course, that's very difficult to achieve. But countries themselves, or small kingdoms like where I am now, can do things about this, and they can do it tomorrow.
Merijn Tinga, thanks for taking that step back from off the shore and bringing us back that perspective. Thanks for being with us here on France 24.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Stay with us. There's more to come, more news, plus the day's business and sports.